Hello and welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast. I'm your host, Robin Hackney, and I'm so happy that you're here. This podcast is a place for conversations about balancing a healthy lifestyle and being happy. More specifically, happy hour. Together, we'll explore all things wellness and wine. I hope you learn a little, laugh a lot, and along the way, know you're not alone on this balanced wellness journey. Ready to jump in? Pour something in your glass that makes you happy because it's time for Spandex and Wine. Hello and welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast. I'm your host, Robin Hackney, and thank you for being here. I'm excited to share today's guest with you. He is someone very near and dear to my heart, has made a huge impact on my life, and I know so many others as well. In fact, he'll never know the extent of the people that he has helped and touched their lives. So I want to just thank him in advance. Thank you, Marcus, for being here, for sharing this time. He's a massage therapist, and I feel like that term doesn't even cover everything. He's an energy worker. He's a confidant. He is a wonderful friend. He's just someone that will leave you with an experience that you want more, not just from a physical standpoint, but from just wanting to be a better person and be more like Marcus, really, when it comes down to it, just be more like Marcus. I am going to let the episode roll right now so you can experience all of it, and then make sure that you check out the show notes where his contact information will be located as well. Here we go. Well, hello and welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast, Marcus. I am overjoyed that you are here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Marcus, we go back several years, and let's see, I think that we decided that we met because you had just walked into the studio and you were looking for a place for massage therapy, correct?
Yes, exactly. Just trying to figure out where to find my place in life a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if my friend Tisha was a connector for
Yeah.
us, because I think she was a client with you first.
Yes, correct. So she had
Okay.
came in to me, I believe, at Massage Heights when I had worked there, and I decided to separate and do my own thing when you and I started talking. So yeah.
Yes. And I remember going to you at Massage Heights,
Mhm.
and then I had said something about, oh, I'm opening a studio, and you're like, well, I'm still here. And and then we connected, and we've been connected ever since.
I know, and it's just crazy like how that time has just jumped and it just continues, and it's exciting the future that we have.
Yes, no, it's so true. It's so true. And just to let the listeners know, so Marcus, you were at the studio for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
about six,
Okay.
6.5 years. So
Yeah, yeah. You were
yeah.
with me at the first location and then moved with me to the second one. And
Correct.
then we were heartbroken to hear that you were leaving us and you were moving to the Phoenix area from Kansas City, which good for
Yes.
you. You wouldn't want to be here right now. It's snowy and it's cold, and so
I
good for
know.
you.
That's what my family's telling me. I still have a couple people back home, so definitely getting the pictures and everything. So, but it's like
Yeah.
70 degrees here today, so I'll take it.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I might have to come visit you.
Oh yeah, by all means.
But you were the reason that we had our first retreat. Once
Mm.
you moved, we had talked in class all the time about, we had joked around like in January, oh, we should go on a fitness destination
Oh
vacation or
yeah.
something like that. And then you moved and we're like, wait a second, this is going to happen. So
Yep.
we had our first retreat in Fountain Hills, and you came and you did massages for everyone. And it was wonderful. And I can't thank you enough for doing that.
Oh no, thank you guys for letting me be part of your journey. And like it was a true experience and definitely eye-opening for me as like the potential of like what we can all be, bigger than ourselves sometimes.
Yes. Yes, that's so true when you work together. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's talk about massage and body
Yeah.
work and the importance of it, because I think a lot of people just think of a foo-foo massage and something that you reward yourself with.
Yes.
What would you say to that person? How do you describe massage therapy?
I would say 100% always reward yourself. But when it comes to massage, I have found that my first take is me being vulnerable with that client and then allowing them a vulnerable space. It's really easy to navigate when you both are open to the idea of different massages, different modalities, just like anything that can help you be a better version of yourself. So
Hmm.
I've always tried to take the outlook, and if you're in my door, I want you to be comfortable. Or if you're on my table, excuse me, I would like for you to be comfortable. So
Yeah, and you definitely put everyone at ease. You're
thank you.
wonderful at what you do, and beyond wonderful. Like it's almost like supernatural. Like you have
I
this ability to connect with a person without even touching them. Like you can just
yeah.
sense
Oh
and
yeah. I have a pretty funny thing about that. Like this couple days back. Just one second. There we go. Sorry. A couple days back, I was actually like talking to a client about she was out in like California and stuff, and I'm here in Arizona, and I go, well, so you need to quit with the like the hip stuff, your shoulders going on, just telling her everything that she has going on. She's like, how are you doing this? Right. And I was like, I don't know, your body's just telling me, like, because we were texting and stuff, so I just happened to like pick up on what she was, so when you say supernatural, I definitely feel like it's a gift that I can't explain, and I'm truly blessed to have it and have people to share it with. So,
yeah. Well, we're happy that you share it with us. And when did you first notice? I mean, when you went to massage therapy school,
oh
were
yeah.
you aware then, or is it something that just kind of came to you?
Well, I've been like ever since I was like about 6 years old, like super empathic as a kid. So I picked up on like walking in a room, how everybody feels and stuff, but I didn't like start really picking up on my intuition until about 2 years ago because it was dismissed for me as a kid. So I'm learning like what my true capability is. So being empathic, like people don't
Yeah.
often relate to you when you're younger, and they always try to pick your brain when you're older. But now I'm kind of realizing there's a lot more potential to just like being open to those feelings and not blocking them
Hmm.
off. So
Hmm.
so yeah, like
Yeah.
about 2 years ago was when it all started kind of clicking, to be honest, when I like separated myself from like the potential of what I used to know and just started with a clean slate, and kind
Hmm.
of opened up to, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So was it a specific instance, a client that you were with that you were like, whoa, what
Hmm.
is this?
Well, I've always felt like energy and all that kind of stuff. I think it was when I really started just almost being more vulnerable with myself and accepting like these are things that are going to happen and come about. So I have to like be comfortable in navigating how people feel towards me and like what I pick up on people. So like that safe space, creating that boundary, but also like, are you comfortable with me telling you why your left knee is doing this? Insert here. So unfortunately, like I picked up on energy, souls, and it's it's a wild take because, like I said, for years it was something that was not talked about or frowned upon or whatever. And now I'm like, this is me. This is my person, and I accept it. So it took
Hmm.
me a while to accept it. If that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, not just you accepting it, because the other person, the person that's receiving it,
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
to be open to receiving that energy
Yeah.
work too.
100%. Like, and if it's not, then why are we in the same room together? So
So what would you say to the person that is just like, oh, that's just a bunch of hooey?
honestly, I would say if that is your take, I would love to try to help you not have that take, when it comes to that, because everybody deserves a chance at finding what makes themselves work,
Hmm.
and click. And I think us as a society are everything's thrown at us, but we don't take time to like actually realize it's that one thing that is us.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have two youngish children,
Oh yeah.
and and you're married. So
Yeah,
I want to know, to like 2 years ago when you said that you had that shift,
Mhm,
how did that
mhm.
change your relationship with your wife? And what have you been able to teach your children as a
Oh,
result?
it's kind of wild because my kids are very empathic as well. So I teach them like, hey, you're gonna have those moments where you ramp up and you're feeling your friends' feelings and just realize like it's okay and help them. So giving them a safe tool to use their like mental ability and emotional ability has been good for us as a couple and as a family. And then
Hmm.
Jill sees like I'm actually opening up and being more authentic. And of course, that yeah opens up our relationship to new like let's travel as a family, let's do things, let's actually like get to know each other again, you know,
Yeah. That no,
because
that's wonderful.
the more you go through the
Yeah.
work grind and go through the day to day, it's like, you know what, I kind of I remember what we were and what we're possible, you know, can be, but let's do the now,
Hmm.
you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's,
And I somewhat understand what you're talking about. Energy maybe just a little bit, nothing like you, but
oh
it's
yeah.
weird. I've shared this with you before
Yeah.
that I sometimes take on other people's pain, some of my clients, and I'm like,
Mhm.
this is so bizarre. And
Yeah.
it's not like it doesn't have to be someone that I'm super close with. It doesn't
Mhm.
it is so, and it's hit and miss. I don't understand it, and maybe you can help me understand that
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
life. But it's so unique.
Yeah. So what you're essentially like picking up on is like having emotional tethers to people. And it's because like you care. A lot of people don't know how to care without starting to care for themselves. And you instantly care for someone else before you even think about yourself. So that's the biggest thing is like you're already trying to figure out how to help that person before you have essentially given yourself grace to know it's okay if you can't help them right away. So you almost like attack your system. You know, like I'm
Hmm.
not worthy of helping this person, and why are all these feelings coming up, and why can't I help them right away? When just take the steps back and process and know like you are helping them as long as you're being the best version of yourself for them. You know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's where
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. It's and I think what like I said, you deal with the struggle of personal like doubt when it comes to accepting this is real. Like those are real feelings. They're valid. There's a reason why you're in that room with that person. So don't feel invalid when those emotions and those things come up like, hey, I would like to tell you, Shirley, that, you know, this is why your stomach's all torn, you know, but you're like, I don't know, Shirley, do I read the room or do I step back? You know, so be willing to take the 2 steps forward instead of those steps backwards when it comes to being vulnerable. And that's yeah, it's almost like
Yeah.
us as a society are scared to be vulnerable with each other, even if it's like at a grocery store. Like often I like wave at people or like I'm, hey, do you want me to push your cart? And they're like, oh, get away from me. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So it's hard. So I'm learning just navigate it and embrace like what's around you because you never
Hmm.
know if that's the last time you see that person, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you have to have had the opposite too of like
Oh,
really bad energy. And
yeah.
how do you not let that stick with you and and get rid of
Yeah.
that? How do you clear that for yourself?
Okay, so this is like one of the tricks that my teacher taught me, like way back in massage school, was to take yourself and say, this breath, this moment. And there's nothing else beyond that or before that that you can change. So when you're in that moment, become grounded and know like your circumstances are your circumstances and you are the most powerful thing in that position. So there's no reason
Hmm.
to destroy something when you have the power at hand, you know.
That's
That's
good.
like, so I try to stay grounded that way if that's, you know, and I of course I take my shoes off and walk outside and look goofy from time to time, but you know.
You're
That's
in Phoenix, you can
yeah,
do
yeah,
that. It would
exactly,
look goofy
exactly.
if
It's
I did it
fine. It's
here.
fine. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd be people be like, Marcus, you good? Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I know I want to go back to when I said that we came down for a retreat. Well,
Oh yeah.
now
Yes.
some of the ladies at the studio, like they have you come back to Kansas
Yep.
City
Yep.
and line you up with massages.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just such a treat for all of us. And I'm sure
Uh,
it's good for you to come back to Kansas City to see some of your family too.
it definitely is. It definitely is. It's really good to like almost be humbled by it, knowing like where I came from to like where we're at now, and then also like the family that we created. Like that's what means like the biggest to my heart or the most to my heart. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I love you guys and it's an experience that I can't ever replace and I never would want to, and the growth that you allowed me in that safe space allowed me to be the person that I am today. So honestly, thank you, ladies, and thanks for the support. I honestly can't say thank you enough.
Yeah. No, 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 no. And I was just got off another call and we were talking
Mhm.
about like everything just comes down to relationships.
Yeah.
When you peel everything away, it's just how you have that connection with people and how you treat people.
Oh yeah. And you're right. It's connection and what like you talked about why you feel things the way that you do is because you want to be connected to their soul, not just the superficial.
Hmm.
And it's hard to have superficial relationships when your soul like knows what you're capable of.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and just a really quick shout out
Yeah,
to our
yeah.
friend Denise,
Oh,
who
heck
is the
yeah.
connector for
Whoop
you.
whoop.
And Julia as well when she opens up her home to you. So thank
Oh,
you to
hey,
both of those
hey.
ladies.
I love it. Thank you guys. So, hey, wouldn't change it for the world. So,
So, what's in store
awesome.
for you, Marcus? I know that you are a person that you always like to continue learning,
Oh yeah,
try
oh
new
yeah.
things. So, what's the next step for you in your professional life?
Well, professionally, I'm getting ready to really start getting into my Reiki again, start channeling that stuff because I feel like the energy shift of the world's coming and I can't explain the tethers that's going on in my head right now. So getting back to that, opening up people to more like events and stuff like that, as far as like if you got some friends in town, you can do like a ladies' evening or a guys' evening because guys need sessions too. So,
Yeah,
and
true.
essentially, just my biggest thing this next year is honestly to open up more people to being vulnerable with accepting themselves. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of self unworthiness out there that people are really going down the rabbit hole, and I can feel it like with all my being. So I'm ready to change that and like
Yeah.
I said, host more people, be more social. Anybody wants to come out, come on out. Like heck, don't feel like you're crashing our party, so you're part of it. So yeah, and that's what I told the kids. I was like, get more close with like my faith and just kind of really accept what's around me and know it's time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had mentioned just a second ago about your faith, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how people, because when I think of sometimes when I think of having a strong faith, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have room for all these extra
Ah,
energies, or I mean,
yes.
sorcery is the word I want
Oh
to use, but
yeah.
that's not right.
Believe me.
So
Yeah, yeah.
how would you talk to someone about that?
So when you're going through like faith and all that, like what I tend to go back to is like being the best version of yourself, as long as you believe in like a positive like theory and thought, and you're trying to not necessarily project it onto somebody, but be with somebody wholesomely. That's all it comes down to. Like if it's positive energy, that's all the good Lord, the faith base, all that kind of stuff is really when it comes down to it, that's what it's based on. And there's
Hmm.
no reason to deny what our basis should be. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't care color, race, religion, sex, whatever it may be, as long as you have a soul, you deserve at least some positive energy. You
I love
know?
that. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. And you had mentioned that you had a client or a friend that you were texting and you could feel things through
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh
Is that
yeah.
something that you offered, a service that you offer? Like you could hop on Zoom with someone and read them energy wise that way?
like I haven't necessarily dabbled in it, but you gave me the great idea of that. So essentially, I
Yeah.
feel like that is something that I can do, especially because I have a lot of tethers to people because I've
Mm-hmm.
worked on over thousands of bodies at this point, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm essentially like I know I'm connected to all that kind of stuff. So especially like you and I could kind of kind of tell you what's going on, all those little things. Especially like if I can like just be in the moment with you, you know? So I feel like that would be like
Mm-hmm.
something if people are interested in that I would be open to for sure. Like there's no reason to deny even like a mild counsel situation when it comes to navigating energies and
Sure.
talking about stuff to people. Cause believe me, I'm an open book. You can ask me like what crystals do what. I'd be like, if I don't know, I'll look it up. But if I do, we're going down the rabbit hole. So you know.
Okay, so you mentioned crystals. Let's talk about crystals. I mean, I know
Oh,
nothing. So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
So is
yeah.
that something that this might be a silly question. Do you use that in massage? Is it something that like
Oh
I don't
yeah.
even
I
know.
definitely I always got my like crystal quartz because that's a good clearing crystal. I keep a little
Okay.
copper on me because we actually have copper in our body, so it is attracted to that. So, you know, different minerals, different spirit, all that kind of stuff our body tends to gravitate towards. So
Mm-hmm.
I do usually keep a copper on me just because it's natural and it's grounding. And then the crystal quartz is just to kind of help me clear out negative energies and stuff if they do come. But more or less what I'm finding when I start with positive energy on that client, and then the rest kind of just goes positive for the most part. So as long as you keep
Yeah.
it positive, then that energy kind of relays back to you. So when you
Okay,
feel
that's
that negative,
interesting.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like when you see the knee braces in the store with
Mhm,
copper
mhm.
and the ankle braces, so
Hey,
do you think those really work?
I do feel like they work because our bodies has, like I said, certain, all that kind of stuff in it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really cool to see what it's capable of. So I believe in that. And like I have a copper pyramid, like I meditate under. Like, yeah, it's like when I turn on my sound bowls, all that kind of stuff, and I'm sitting underneath there, there's just something about it that I, can't explain, but it works.
Oh, that's cool. So is meditation part of your daily ritual?
Not daily.
Mhm.
I can't say it is, but as far
That's
as like
okay.
giving myself, can't say giving myself 5 minutes of like silence, yes. But my biggest meditations are about like my 30 minutes when I am under my pyramid, and I've actually gotten laughed at because I've taken it on vacation with us, and Jill's like, "Really, you're bringing that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have to meditate where you."
Oh, that's
Oh yeah,
great.
oh yeah. So yeah, I believe in like there's definitely a world out there for crystals because the earth is made up of all that stuff anyhow. So it's already
Yeah.
here. It's just a matter of like that energy, like I said, can neither be created nor destroyed. It's so we have to pick it up somehow. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes total sense. It's all right here for
Yeah,
us to
yeah.
use.
What is
It's just a
here is
matter
here
of us to, yeah.
only. Oh yeah. Yep. It's kind of wild.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about
Yeah.
I mean, you've had a change physically as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
lost some weight, you've made
Yep.
a
Yep.
turn in your wellness. What started that?
Honestly, I think being able to accept myself and know, like, growing up as a kid, I had the complex of I have to finish the plate because your parents are happy plate, happy this. And as an adult, I'm like, oh, I don't have to finish the whole plate. I can, like, maybe have like one, serving. So I'm learning portion control is huge, but also
Yeah.
like, being like I am medicated for like all that kind of stuff, like with my like ADHD and stuff. So I realized 30 years of being undiagnosed and then kind of figuring out like that's what's been going on in my brain. So it's helped regulate my emotional well-being and so that and then getting back to meditation. So yeah, like you said, what you put in is what you get out, whether it's energy and the more toxic negative thoughts you have, that's what your body's going to essentially keep giving you. So
Hmm.
quit doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been a lot. I think moving, accepting myself and Jill, like we're talking, like we check in with each other every week. We have like a marriage journal. So just being open to each other, like there's
Hmm.
no reason to deny that. And it's made me feel better at the heart, So the
Yeah.
kids see it, and if they're happy, the rest of the world's happy. So
Yeah. And a marriage journal. That's interesting. That's
yes,
so
yes.
cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's one of the little people's kids. It's the biggest kid, I believe, that has a wife, and him and her started this book together. It's on Amazon. It's called The Marriage Journal, and it's been a really good eye opener for us. And sometimes like you dread it, because you're like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about the hard things this week. But then you're like, we talked about the hard things this week.
Yay, yes.
So yeah, it's a double standard, but it works.
That's cool. It's cool. And
Yeah.
I love that you both are so open to all of this. I don't even
Oh
know what Dave
yeah.
would say if I said, honey, we're going to start a marriage
Well,
journal.
you tell
I might try
Marcus
it.
said, all right, Marcus, you can get her into all these things, I tell you.
I might have to just tell him. Maybe that's his
Yeah,
Valentine's
yeah,
present.
there you go. Exactly. Bring home some sound bowls in the marriage journal. He'll be set.
And a copper triangle
Right, exactly. I'm
meditation.
like, what is going on? So, with you could probably do some yoga pose on her, like hang from
Yeah,
upside down, just make,
sure. Why
this
not?
is
Why
how I
not?
meditate. So, man.
Well, Marcus, do you know when you're coming back to Kansas City next?
I'm actually thinking April. Jill and I talked about. So literally, I just have to talk to Miss Julia and you guys and see kind of what's going on there. And then I'm thinking we talked about perhaps April, and then another like October once fall break hits for us, and this time
Cool.
bringing out the littles or something. So
Yeah.
so yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
that would
excited.
be great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I've enjoyed our time together,
Oh
and
yes. Oh
I
yes.
know by the time I publish this episode, you will probably already have the capability to book clients
Oh.
for Zoom and all of that. How
Oh,
can
okay.
people
Okay.
find you on social media or
Oh, right.
website? Where can they find you?
I'm actually working on a website because I had to switch everything over and all that, and then finally ready to do it, buckle down and get that set up. So, however, I can do like my phone number. So I've got the 913-660-8520. So that's my like business number and everything. And then
Mhm.
the Body Wisdom Massage LLC at gmail.com. So that's the another one. So that's my email. So text, call those. And then right now, like I said, I'm working on a link, getting that all set up. I think Jill has where if you go to Facebook and type in Body Wisdom Massage LLC, like on her page, there's like a drop that like a Body Wisdom something,
Oh, okay.
So
Hmm.
I like I said, I'm not as on the social media, so
Yep, that's okay. That's okay. Good for
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for taking time out of your
Oh,
schedule. I've enjoyed connecting with you. I always do.
100% always. And, if you ever need anything, reach out. And right now, if you want to come out, it'll be still 70 for another. No.
It's tempting. It's
Yeah, yeah.
tempting.
No, yeah.
All right. Well, you take care and thank you again.
Well, thank you for your time and have a great day. So.
You guys, I'm serious when I say he's the best massage therapist. Hopefully you could hear some of that. He was just here in Kansas City, but will be returning in the fall if you'd like to experience his amazing work. Here are a few takeaways from our conversation. 1, we can all be bigger than ourselves when we come together. 2, massage therapy is so much more than working with the physical body. Energy work is a large component of it as well. 3, create a safe space and be vulnerable with yourself to open more to life. Finding a professional like Marcus where you can take that to the next level is amazing. 4, the daily grind can get in the way of being in the moment. Choose to do the now. 5, trust your instincts and intuition. Take 2 steps forward when it comes to being vulnerable with others. Some will appreciate it and some will dismiss it. You will attract your right tribe. 6, embrace what is around you. 7, this breath, this moment. There is nothing beyond that. Stay grounded and know you hold the power. 8, everything comes down to relationships and connections. We desire more than the superficial. Oh gosh, you can find contact information for Marcus in the show notes, but never hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, be sure to follow Spandex and Wine so you don't miss an episode. To do this, just go to the podcast and click subscribe or follow wherever you are listening. Look for the plus sign or follow button. This is one of the best things that you can do for the podcast. If you'd also be willing to give a 5-star review, that would be amazing and much appreciated. Lastly, please share an episode with a friend or 5 to keep the love going, and join the Spandex and Wine community in our private Facebook group by searching Spandex and Wine. Feel free to reach out to me at any time by emailing info@spandexandwine.com or text me at 913-392-2877. I appreciate you. Thank you.